Yo, guys, I decided to make a video about LDR because going into the new season, it's important to know like how armor pen actually works. And there's people like mention LDR, they just like mention it in a retarded way. So I just want to like come over and explain to you how it actually works. So we have this tweet from Reptile9 here, and he's saying, I might be a delusional ADC player. Don't get me wrong, he played the fight really bad, but this still shouldn't even be close, no? He's up items and levels. So the clip in question is Product Dash and A being a fucking gold retard because the guy was like boosted to the plot or whatever. And he's getting like completely fucking owned by support. But let's just play the clip. I mean, come on. I'll unmute the clip in a second here, but I just want to like preface this by saying it has been since the dawn of time in this game. If you're playing ADC and you get hit by every single spell in the entire game, you're gonna die. It doesn't matter what character it is. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter about anything at all. The entire point of this class is to dodge spells and do damage. So if you're getting hit by every single skill shot, you're going to die, right? So let's just play the clip. So he's trying to auto attack the Braum, gets hit by one Braum Q. It hits him for 230 damage, right? Braum has 2,500 health, hits him for 230. And he gets hit by every single spell and proceeds to die, I'm pretty sure. And after he dies, after getting hit by literally every single spell in the entire game, he has this to say. Let's hear it. Let's listen to a little Product Dash.
I lose to the support! That's not balance! It's not balance! What do you mean? I have armor pen! What do you mean? It's not—
Okay, anyway, so he just like rages out of screen because he died of this support like a fucking retard. Okay, anyway, so if we like rewind the clip, number one, after he hits this first Braum Q, he can just flash on him and kill him, by the way. He can literally just flash on him, slow him, he can't escape, and just like run him down and kill him, but the guy's playing in gold, so obviously the Braum isn't going to do that and doesn't know that he can do that. And if you just want to like, if you want to like go through the like argument of like, you know, Braum, blah, 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 damage, his fucking Q, number one, max rank does 300 damage plus 2.5% of his max health. You know, that's a lot of damage. And his ult does like 300 damage at rank 2, which he got hit with. So, I mean, it makes sense to me. If you get hit by 3 Braum Qs in a row, sorry, and you can't even hit that spell, by the way. It's literally impossible to hit. You're going to die every single time. And if you get hit by Glacial Fissure, which does 300 damage, if he has any AP, you know, it's going to do a little bit more, you're going to get fucking owned, you know? I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. Anyway, so let's just talk about Armor Pen, the main part of the video. Basically, the way Armor Pen works is I can just scroll down and show you here. Let's say someone has 100 armor. Their effective the effective damage you are doing to them is 50%. You're only doing 50% of your damage because 100 armor is 50% damage reduction, okay? If you buy LDR, LDR reduces their armor by 40% of the value, you know, the total value. So if you have 100 armor and you buy LDR, as you can see here, you will have 60 armor because it's doing 40% of 100, right? So it's reducing armor by 40, thus meaning of 60 armor. And your effective damage multiplier is increased from 50% to about 12%. So usually when you guys have heard me say in the past, if you guys have watched my, or like I'm just saying on random streams, I say LDR gives you approximately a 10% damage increase. A 10 to 12% damage, sorry, an 11 to 12% damage increase. And that is a little bit of a misleading statement because in my head when I'm saying it, I'm talking about like, I'm not comparing it to what you would have without LDR because I'm assuming you would have LDR in your build with it, whether it be Mortal or LDR. So I thought it would be a great exercise to show you guys how much damage LDR actually gives you. So if you scroll down here, if you do 1,000 damage to a guy, let's say they have 50 armor, you're getting an extra 15% damage from LDR. And this gets crazy, right? So when they have 100 armor, now keep in mind, this is not your total effective damage multiplier. This is the extra damage you are gaining from having LDR, right? So your total damage multiplier is going up by 12% or so. However, the damage that you are doing compared to not having the item at all is increasing by this much. So you would be doing 25% more damage if they have 100 armor, right? If they have 200 armor, you would be doing 36% of the damage that you could have been doing, if that makes sense. So, and as you can see, if you look at the numbers on the right here, right, the damage that you do goes down here, right? It goes from 126 to 122. but the percentage of the damage that you would be doing without LDR goes up, because if you didn't have LDR, you would have been doing way less damage overall, if that makes sense. So TLDR, LDR increases your damage relative to not having it by up to 40% if they have like 300 armor, right? But on average, you know, they're going to be in the 100 to 200 armor range, so it's about 25 to 36% more damage. You can see on the right here, this is 5,000 damage. So let's just choose a random one. If they have 150 armor and you do 5,000 damage, your damage without LDR would be 2,000, but your damage with LDR would be 2,632. So you could look at it as, oh, I'm only doing 600 more damage, which is kind of insane to me. That's literally 30% of the damage. But I mean, it gets crazy, you know, like if you do 6,000 damage, you do an extra 1,000 damage, you know, or sorry, if you do 10,000 damage, you do extra 1,000 damage. Like, it might not seem like much, you know, somehow, I don't know, I don't understand how you could view that, you know, but so I'm trying to make this for the broader league audience here, but I mean, it is pretty insane I mean, if you look at like, you could be doing 42% more damage. I don't understand how you can like never not build this item on every single like ADC in the entire game, right? Even on non-ADCs, this item is fucking broken. I mean, this is why Black Lever, you have to have some sort of penetration item in your build, you know? It's just that simple. That's why every single mage should have armor, like, magic penetration, you know? It's just, especially mages, because of the armor, every single like character in the game will have up to like 100 armor, because people gain a lot of armor per level, but people don't really gain as much MR per level. So when you build Pin, it's crazy how much more damage you can do on mages. Anyway, the next thing that I would like to bring up is LDR versus Mortal Reminder. Which one should you go and why? Now, in the current version of the game, Mortal Reminder is almost always better, because if they have any sort of healing, whether that be Conqueror, health potions, you know, a fucking Soraka, like anything at all, it doesn't need to necessarily be a healing champion. In the current state of the game, Mortal Reminder will usually do more damage with the healing that it is reducing than LDR, right? It's not always the case, but it is usually the case. And we can go look at the table now. So let's say they have 100 armor. You would be doing around 19 more damage if you do 1,000 damage. If you do 5,000 damage, you'd be doing around 68 more damage, or 100 more damage, right? Now, see, here's the thing, right? Because Grievous Wounds is the effect you get with Mortal, and you're applying it to people who are healing, if they heal for 100, and that's a pretty low number. Like, let's say you're team fighting and someone only heals for 100 throughout the team fight, that's a pretty low. People have like a bunch of different healing effects. It's insane. You just by having Grievous Wounds would reduce 40 of that, right? Or 60. I don't remember if it's 60 or 40 right now on live. I completely forget. Anyway, for next season, however, though, because LDR is getting LDR is getting less armor pen overall, but it's getting Giant Slayer back. So the more HP people have, the more percentage damage amplification you will be doing, right? Because that's being added, LDR is going to be it's going to be a decision again. It's going to be, you know, do they have insane healing? Well, then I should probably go Mortal, you know, or maybe go Xe and just they go LDR. But you know, you need to have the healing cut versus characters that actually heal. Right now, it's kind of broken. It's not like that, but it's changing soon. But again, like if you look at the damage between Immortal and LDR, you know, it's only up to, I don't really like saying up to a 5% increase, because that's only at 300 armor, you know, but like, again, at 200 armor, 100 armor, it's like 3 to 1.5%, right? And that, see, look, it's like, if you do 10,000 damage, you are only gaining 67 damage, 6-7, or you're only getting 189 damage or 135 damage if you're doing 10,000 damage in a team fight. Like the odds that you just cut that amount of healing by having Mortal is astronomically higher than just having LDR. You know, you're pretty much always going to be doing more damage with Mortal. And for people that still are not following, you know, if you reduce 500 healing in a fight, this number, the extra damage that you'd be doing with LDR, so this is the LDR extra damage. Let's say you do 500 in a fight. This is 300 more damage effectively than LDR, because you are reducing 300 more. That's basically like doing damage if you're reducing the healing that they're doing. You're reducing their HP bar that they would have had by that number. So anyway, that's pretty much the rundown for LDR. I don't really have anything else to say, but you know, when people say like, oh, I don't have to go LDR, LDR is weak or whatever, you know, it's pretty broken. And I also want to point out that when people say like, oh, ADC is so weak, like I have LDR, LDR doesn't mean you should instantly one-shot somebody, right? It just increases damage against armor, right? If they're building HP, LDR effectively, like, it gives you a decent damage amp, right? It's still 25% more damage, but it's not gonna do, like, it's not gonna give you as much damage. Does that make sense? Like, if they have a lot of HP, if you're doing like 5,000 damage to them and they're just like, it's like a Mundo who just like ulted or whatever, like LDR doesn't really matter that much, even though you're doing 25% more damage, right? Like, let's say I hit a Mundo for 10,000 damage, right? I'm only gonna be doing an extra 1,250 with LDR right now. But anyway, so TLDR, LDR gives you up to 30% more damage on average in games, but even though it gives you that, Mortal is better than LDR in the current version in Season 15. However, in Season 16, it's going to be a choice between having to go heal cuts and having to go Giant Slayer, which Giant Slayer pretty much on ADC applies to almost every single other player, even the supports, because usually like supports are tanky and they build HP. There's a lot of HP on support items, so you're usually doing a lot of damage against the entire enemy team because ADCs are like the squishiest class in the entire game, and they're the most under-leveled class. So because everyone else is over-leveled, you're doing more damage than them. However, now I think they changed LDR on PBE to be not bonus health; it's only purchased health. So levels don't really matter anymore, I guess, for like being overleveled. Like, you're not going to do 15% more damage just because they overlevel you. They have to actually buy health. So, if it's an assassin, Giant Slayer doesn't really work against them. So something to keep in mind. But I just wanted to, make this video about LDR because the way people talk about it makes me want to fucking kill myself. So yeah.